Most people buy stocks out of hype, social media noise, or hot tips by experts. At the end of the day, they have their fingers burnt. They lose their money, they complain, they cry, they groan, and they say the stock market is not real or it's a scam. Actually, it is not a scam. It is just that you were not well informed. Another category of people that have similar issues are those who find it difficult to read the financial statement, or they find it difficult to understand the financial statement. As soon as they see it, it is bulky, they want to run away. No, you don't need to run away. And that is why we are here today. We have your back covered. Today we are going to show you just the key fundamental things that you just need to know or to have at the back of your mind before you invest in that stock or in that company. There are key things you need to see, and there are key fundamentals that need to trigger your desire to buy, to hold on, or not to even go near there. That is why we are here for you, to demystify this so that you can make wealth, you can manage wealth, and you can multiply wealth. I'll be right back. Hold on. Welcome back. So we are going to be looking at the 5 things that you need to know before you invest your money in any stock or in any company. No hype, no expert tips. All you just need to know is to know them. It is not rocket science. It is not cast on stone. Very simple. We have come to demystify it for you. The first thing you must consider before you invest, especially if you are going for long term, is what we call sales. Some people call it revenue. So you must be able to ascertain that the company is making sales, they are generating sales, they have been able to generate sales. What life is to a living organism, that is what sale is to a company, because you can't grow without having life. So no company can expand, company can make profits if they are not making sales. For example, 2024, a company, maybe a bank, does 20 billion naira in sales. By 2025, at the end of the calendar year, they should do more. And if you see at the end of the year, they have done 40 billion naira in sales, then you will give them thumbs up that this company, they are doing well, they are generating sales. So at least existence is guaranteed. So you must be sure that the company is generating sales. So this is the first thing you need to consider. And the second thing you need to consider is if the company is able to keep the money. And that is what we call profits. If they are able to keep the money, making money, revenue, sales is important, but you have to be able to keep it so that your sales is not eaten up by cost. So you ensure that your cost is less. So if you are able to have less cost, that means you will have profit. It is not just getting the money left, right, and center. It is not just making sales, but you should be able to ensure that your cost is not more than the money you are generating. And when the differential becomes the profit, so every company that you need to invest in, you must be sure that they are not heavily indebted, that their profit is significant. At least you can see it. It is palpable. I remember MTN, they said that 2024 they made about 133 billion. By 2025 they are making almost 355 billion. That is massive, almost 3 times that amount. So when you see such, you know that this company is profitable. So the second thing you need to consider before you invest is that try to ascertain the profitability of that company. And so the third thing you need to consider before you put your money in any stock or in any company is check out their expenses. Are their expenses under control? Is it under? Are they the ones controlling it, or the expenses is controlling them? If their expenses are under control, then this is a place worthy to be considered, because not just making sales, not that then, because before you talk of profit, you must remove all the cost that is inherent in the day-to-day businesses. Imagine the telecom, imagine the banks. In fact, in this part of the world, that is why statistics are that the very first 5 years, so many companies liquidate because of the financial burden that is inherent in it. You talk of power, you talk of the staff salary, you talk of other production costs. It is massive, it is choking. So if the expenses is well curtailed, well managed, then you can consider it. Not when the board of directors suddenly become creative, that they made profit, so they are going to Bahamas, they are going to Khalifa, they want to go and rest. No, you need to say, no, Oga, bring my money. So because this is not where you are putting the money. So you need to consider, you need to watch if they're able to control their expenses, worthy to be considered. So the fourth thing you need to consider before you invest in any stock or in any company is that one. I take it personally. I love it. And I'm sure it's something that you also need to consider before you invest, especially if you are going for long term. It is called EPS. EPS stands for earnings per share. Earnings per share. What is earning per share? Earning per share is the value of your share per time per season. And it is calculated by your net profit. That is the net profit you made for that year minus your preferred dividend holders. If you have preferred dividend holders, those that started the business with you, and you now divide it by the number of shareholders that you have, maybe 20 million, maybe 30 million, maybe 40 million, depending on the number of shareholders you have. When you divide it, whatever is the value, whatever is a product, is exactly what your share is worth. For example, MTN 2024, they recorded that their profit, the earnings per share was about 6 naira. By the end of calendar year 2025, the earnings per share jumped from 6 naira to about 16 naira 90 kobo or thereabouts, approximately 17 naira per share. So that is the worth. So the size of that earnings per share will determine the size of your dividend. So this is something you also need to consider, especially if you are going for long term. Quality earnings per share, place to put your money. The fifth thing you need to consider before you put your money in any company or in any stock is what we call dividend. Is the company there for dividend paying? Especially if you are there for the long term, you must consider whether the company whether they pay dividend or they don't pay it. Some companies, they pay dividend twice in a year, while some pay once in a year, while some have been there for the past 5 years, they have not paid, and you are still there. It is of course, it is your philosophy, it's your mentality, it's your idea. We don't question it. So if you are there and you're not receiving dividend, you are comfortable with it, fantastic. If you are there, they're not paying dividend and you are asking questions, also that is a good way to grow, because curiosity is the mother of invention. So you need to decide if the company is paying dividend, then you are good to go. So these are the 5 fundamental things you just need to know when you see a financial statement. You don't need to run, you don't need to call an account officer. All you just need to consider if they are making sales, if they are profitable, if they are managing their expenses very well, if their earnings per share is sizable, is valuable, and of course, at the end of the day, if they recognize you, they appreciate you, they say, okay, for investing 10 million with us, or for investing 20 million or 2 million or even 1 naira, we use this to say thank you very much. So if they are giving you dividend, then you should consider it. Want to believe with all this, you have been able to learn something from today's training and it has added value to you. We want you to share it with some of your friends, especially the newbies that are going into investment. They should need to consider these things, and those that are having challenges reading the financial statement. It is Wealth Portfolio Builder. Here we teach you how to make wealth, manage wealth, and to multiply wealth. We are also into real estate, especially cashback and every other investment platforms that bring money into your pocket. Once it comes our way, we test it and we see that it's genuine. We present it before you. God bless you. See you at the top. Remain at the top. Keep showing up. You never know when we'll come with quality trainings that will blow your mind and increase the size of your credit account. God bless you. Bye.